So, who remembers Zoids Chaotic Century? What's going on, everyone? Park Life Nerds back here with another Who Remembers, and today is inspired by one of my latest efforts to basically tidy up all my childhood belongings. And well, I stumbled across an old broken Liger model. All of a sudden, memories are flooding back of the TV show Zoids, wondering what it was all about and why I loved it so much. Then I realised there was more than one series, of course, and so I figured the best way to remember everything properly is to go back, read a bit of it, and watch the series. And now, if I'm honest, I had no idea what was going on, but doesn't matter. As a kid, it's giant robots fighting. So let's look back at Zoids, and we'll start with the Chaotic Century. But first, what were Zoids? So Zoids, or Technozoids, are giant robot mecha animals. They're usually dinosaurs, insects, mythical creatures, obviously the Liger. Really cool looking animals. Originally a toy designed by the company Tomy. The toys all came out in 1983. Due to its popularity and obviously the want to sell more, this was later turned into 5 TV shows and multiple video games. So Zoids Chaotic Century was actually the original series produced in Japan. However, it was the second series to be dubbed into English. The Chaotic Century is set on a different planet to ours, still in the Milky Way, but the planet is called Z. On Z, there are these metallic life forms called Zoids. Over the course of history, the Zoids have been used as weapons in the war between the Helletic Republic and the Gaios Empire. When this story picks up, both sides are at a ceasefire, although there is a lot of tension going on between them, and there's a lot of skirmishes and attacks happening. A lot of this is happening behind closed doors, and we meet our main series protagonist, Van Flyheight. Van is a teenager, and he ends up finding brief breakdown. He finds a mysterious girl named Fiona, and an organoid named Zeke. Organoids are basically living Zoids that are tiny that you find out they can merge with your Zoid, and they basically increase the fight power and skill of the main pilot. The main plot of this is Van helping Fiona find out who she is, whilst making friends along the way, but also the big war that's happening which was going on has restarted, and the group are caught right in the middle of it. Van himself gains a fierce rival in Raven, who, when they first start battling, Raven is far superior to Van, beats him quite a few times. Van has to learn to adapt and survive. He ends up beating Raven a few times, but that's not the end of Raven. He pops up throughout the series, trust me. For Fiona, it turns out she is part of an ancient race called the Zordian, who basically lived on the planet before the humans got there, so I guess you could say she's native to the planet, and she has no idea about her past except for a few memories coming through. Van is very keen to help her try and remember everything. So on the war front, there has been a ceasefire ordered, but Prozan refuses and tries to use this time to conquer the Republic while they are out of action. He almost assassinates the prince in the process, and basically has full control over the empire. Prozan then plans to achieve his new goal, which is to release one of these powerful Zoids. He's found the paperwork for, and he plans to recreate it. The Zoid itself was the Death Sora. They just doesn't actually make a great version of it to start with. He just has a clone. This new Zoid is called the Genosora, and well, you can guess who ends up piloting the Genosora. It is Van's nemesis, Raven. Raven, being given this Zoid, immediately goes to find Van, and they have a huge battle. Geno is too strong. He destroys the shield Liger, which is sad point in the series, Van looks absolutely defeated. Luckily, because it's a kids show and plot armor, Zeke and Fiona are able to revive the Shield Liger. This time it is now upgraded to the Blade Liger, which basically the same Zoid but with blades. Van faces off against Raven again, and this time he's able to win the battle. Raven almost dies, but is saved by his organoid that he has called Shadow. And Van and the crew get to the capital, only to find out that Prozin has now unleashed the Death Sora clone, so he's also managed to make a clone. But luckily for Van, he's able to defeat this clone because, well, he just had a battle with the Geno version of it, so he knew exactly how to defeat it. After this, the world is safe for now, and Van and Fiona leave to find Zoid Eve and help her rediscover who she is. Alright, and like most good animes, they have a time skip, so the next part's called Guardian Force. Still the same series, but under a different name. It's basically 2 years later. It is shown that Van has joined the Helictic Army, and Fiona is a researcher for the military. One night on the way home, Van and Fiona decide, let's go look for Zoid Eve again. It's been 2 years, let's give it another go. Unfortunately, as this has been in the background the whole time, the war is about to kick off again. And Van's nemesis Raven re-emerges, originally attacking Van a few times in many different Zoids, looking to find the right one basically to take him down. Can't really do it till he finds another Genosora. When using the Genosora, it evolves into a Genobreaker. We meet two new antagonists, Reese and Hilta, who are on a mission to release the Death Stinger. Apparently a Zoid so powerful it can wipe out cities. Hilt actually ends up doing this, and with the Death Stinger starts a massive wave of destruction, destroying multiple places. To counter this, they awaken the Ultrasaurus, which is basically a huge Zoid, almost the size of a small building, well, way bigger than a small building. Van and Irvine help slow down the Death Stinger by basically just distracting it because they can't do any damage to it. For the Ultrasaurus to get close enough to use its gravity cannon. This cannon is huge. It is like the size of the Zoid itself. It takes a few attempts, but they finally manage to hit the Death Stinger, damaging its core. Now, just when you think it's about to finish, suddenly Hilt, the Death Stinger, and Fiona disappear into midair. Everyone's going, what's going on? Luckily, they re-emerge right in front of the Dark Kaiser, who appears to be Prozin. That's right, Prozin is back, and he's merged himself with the Death Sora core, which is basically meaning at the end of the last one they merged together, which is very interesting. So Prozin forces Fiona to open the gates of the ancient Zordian city, where Zoid Eve is apparently located. Zoid Eve, it turns out, is a source of all life for the power of the Zoids and their cores. Hiltz suddenly reappears right in front of Van in the Death Stinger, and they battle one last time. The battle carries on and goes into the city itself. Prozin decides it's time to pull out his ace card and tries to convince Hiltz to merge the Death Stinger with the Death Sora, basically into one super duper Zoid. This Zoid is basically untouchable. Nothing they can do really beats it, and this is the big final battle of the series. Long story short, the Zoid is defeated in one of the coolest ways possible. They basically put the Blade Liger into the gravity cannon and fire the Blade Liger at full force using its attack at the machine, and they pierce its core. As a result, the Death Sora is defeated, and Planet Z is at peace for the first time in a long time. So for me, this show was my original first experience of Zoids. I think it was on TV in early morning in the UK. I thought it was hands down super awesome. I was just kind of getting into the mecha side of things. The Liger was amazing. I thought the Zoids design was really cool. It was really hard to get your hands on any of the toys at that time, which was interesting, seeing it was as a show basically to sell toys. The story was a lot better than I remember. Van was a great protagonist, but he also wasn't always the main focus of the show, which made it quite good. The backstory of Fiona and everything with Zoid Eve was quite cool as well. I completely forgot there was a time skip or slash the two series as part of this, so that was quite cool as well. And basically everything that played out with the war slash the almost war that happened was really good. I would definitely recommend getting out and watching this again if you haven't for a long time. Would love to see I wouldn't say live action version of it, because I'm sure they wouldn't do a great job just yet, but I guess seeing the graphics in Pacific Rim, they could easily do a Zoids movie. But yeah, Chaotic Century was great. I'm gonna spend the next week watching the new Century, because that was the next one that came out in the UK, and I'm excited to see that. Alright, well, thank you for listening to me babble on about Zoids for a little bit, but if you like the video, let me know. If there's anything I missed, definitely let me know, because I've done a really brief history there of that series. There was definitely a few plot points I skipped over. But yeah, thank you for watching, and like the video, share, and subscribe. Cheers.